Okay, let's get right at it. From House Oversight, Congressman Pat Fallon and former Assistant U.S. Attorney Andy McCarthy. Gentlemen, thanks for helping us out tonight. First to you, Congressman. You were at the House impeachment hearing today. Lots of fireworks with former Biden family insiders Tony Bobulinski, Devon Archer, testifying about Biden family corruption allegations, selling access to Joe Biden and the government. Congressman, what came out of the testimony?
Well, Liz, what I saw from Tony Bobulinski was he came off as highly credible. He has no incentive whatsoever to tell anything but the truth, and it's inconvenient for the Democrats because it's very inconsistent. The Bidens and the House Democrats cannot tell us what the Biden family did to get $24 million of foreign money. Nobody can say what goods did they provide, what services did they render. Nobody to this day can tell us except influence peddling and selling access. Yeah, so what the congressman said, Andrew, what do you think? I mean, Bobulinski is saying if everything was above board, why mislead and be dishonest about it? Why bury nearly $30 million in cash flows and nearly 24 off-balance sheet shell companies that no one can track, Andrew?
Well, I really think that the best way to look at this is the simplest way. In a normal transaction, no matter how big the dollar figure is, when you see money going one way, what you see coming across the other way is an asset of some kind, a baseball team, a golf course, a building, what have you. Here, you don't see any asset coming across the table. You see money going one way, and you see it being handled in a way that you would expect like a mafia family or some kind of an organized crime money laundering network to handle money by, breaking big amounts into small amounts. But you don't see any asset going in the other direction. The only sensible conclusion to be drawn is the asset was access to Joe Biden and his political influence. It's that simple. He was the business. Yeah,
I mean, so let's get right to it. What you both said, and Andrew, that's a great point that you just made. Let's watch Tony Bobulinski call out. First, he calls out Democrats for lying to the media. They went into meltdown mode. Then you're going to hear him testify that Hunter Biden and Jim Biden perjured themselves by lying to Congress and much more. Watch this.
They continue to lie directly to the American people without hesitation and remorse. Rep. Dan Goldman and Jamie Raskin, both lawyers, and Mr. Goldman, a former prosecutor with the SDNY from New York, will continue to lie today in this hearing and then go straight to the media to tell more lies. Hunter Biden gave his transcribed interview on February 28th and lied throughout his testimony. He lied to the committee on important details concerning his money demands and threats to CFC. Jim Biden also lied extensively throughout his transcribed interview on February 21st and perjured himself. Joe Biden was more than a participant in and a beneficiary of his family's business. He was an active, aware enabler.
So a lot of lying allegations, lying going on. Congressman, did Jamie Raskin and Dan Goldman go into meltdown mode when he called them out?
They melted like the Nazis in Raiders of the Lost Ark once they looked at the Ark. I'm not saying they're Nazis, Liz. I'm just saying they melted like that. Yeah, they're very thin-skinned. They can dish it out, but as they said it when we were 10 years old in elementary school, they can't take it. And they did go into meltdown mode, but the fact of the matter is the witness can testify and say whatever the witness wants to. And he did just that. I do think that Hunter Biden was lying. I sat in on his 7+ hours deposition, and he lied repeatedly.
What do you think, Andrew? Congressional investigators say the White House has been obstructing the impeachment inquiry right and left when they've got bank records, emails, text messages, photos, visitor logs, whistleblower testimony showing Joe Biden was fully involved in the family business selling his, quote, brand overseas. What do you think, Andrew?
Well, I think that, the Democrats and the administration are being basically bitten by what they themselves did in the past. This was when they did the Ukraine impeachment against Trump, when there wasn't exquisite cooperation coming out of the administration. They tacked on an obstruction article of impeachment to when they voted the article. So, this is kind of what you would expect. I think realistically, nobody thinks, because the votes would never have been there anyway, that the president is going to be impeached and removed. But this was about political accountability. And I thought the committee did a very good job tracing a lot of money for which there's no good explanation. and they can get as hysterical as they want to get. I think what the public wants to know is what was going across the other side of the table in exchange for all those millions of dollars.
Yeah, so what Andrew is saying, the White House counsel asked House Speaker Mike Johnson to drop the impeachment inquiry. Congressman, are you guys going to do that? Or are you going to file criminal referrals to the DOJ or obstruction charges?
We might, Liz. I mean, we've always gone where the evidence leads us, and that's what we need to continue to do. The preponderance of the evidence, in my humble opinion, clearly shows that Joe Biden and his family were involved in an influence peddling scheme. And so we're compelled constitutionally to move forward. And, every time we subpoena more bank records, we find more foreign money. So I think we'll find more in the coming days and weeks.
Congressman Pat Fallon, Andy McCarthy, thanks for joining us. Good to see you both. Thanks for helping us out. We appreciate your expertise.